Behind the paywall, I wish I could go back to the night I made the account. It started out of pure desperation. Rent in the city was crushing me, my retail job barely covered groceries, and everyone on social media made it look so easy. Just post lifestyle content, casual chats, and behind the scenes stuff behind a paywall. A friend had told me, you don't have to show anything you don't want to. It's easy money. So I did it. I launched an OnlyFans page. For the first month, it was exactly what I expected. A few dozen subscribers, a lot of polite messages, and a modest extra income that meant I could finally buy groceries without checking my bank account first. I felt empowered. I felt smart. Then, user underscore 9902 subscribed. He didn't have a profile picture. His username was just the default string of numbers. But within 10 minutes of joining, he sent a $500 tip on my pinned post. The message attached was simple: for your time. I gasped, immediately typing out a breathless thank you message. He didn't reply for hours, but when he did, the tone was deeply unsettlingly formal. You are very welcome, Elena. I enjoy the view of your room. The blue lamp in the corner is a nice touch. A chill ran down my spine, though I tried to shake it off. The blue lamp was clearly visible in the background of my bedroom streams. It was stupid to be paranoid. That's literally what he was paying to see. But something about the way he phrased it felt voyeuristic. Over the next 2 weeks, user underscore 9902 became my top spender. He poured thousands of dollars into my account. He bought every locked photo, every private video, and tipped excessively during my live streams. But he never asked for anything explicit. His requests were always highly specific, borderline mundane. Wear the red sweater today. Sit on the left side of the bed. Keep the window curtains open wide. The money was addicting, so I complied. I bought a better webcam, upgraded my lighting, and started treating it like a real business. But the deeper I got, the more the regret began to simmer. I felt like a puppet. Every time my phone buzzed with his specific notification sound, my stomach dropped. The real horror began on a Tuesday night. I had just finished a live stream and turned off my camera. I sat in the dark room, letting out a sigh of relief when my phone screen lit up with a direct message from user underscore 9902. Attached was a $1,000 tip. The message read, "You look tired tonight. You should go to sleep. But before you do, you should really double-check the lock on your front door. It didn't catch all the way when you came home at 1814. My breath hitched. I hadn't stream chatted about what time I got home. I hadn't mentioned my front door. With a trembling hand, I walked out to my apartment hallway. The front door was resting open by a single terrifying inch. Part 2. I slammed the door, locked the deadbolt, and pushed my heavy entryway table against it. My heart was hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I spent the entire night sitting on my living room floor with a kitchen knife in my hand, staring at the door, waiting for the handle to turn. It never did. The next morning, I convinced myself it was a coincidence, a horrifying statistical anomaly. Maybe I had mentioned my schedule on an older stream and forgot about it. Maybe he was just guessing about the door because it's a common fear. I wanted to delete the account right then, but I owed money on my taxes, and user underscore 9902's tips were the only thing keeping me afloat. That was my second mistake. Greed overrode survival instinct. I decided to change my streaming setup. If he was tracking my apartment, I would give him nothing to look at. I bought a heavy, solid black photography backdrop and set it up directly behind my chair. When I went live that night, my bedroom was completely hidden. Only my face and the black fabric were visible. I didn't see user underscore 9902 in the chat list. For the first 20 minutes, the stream was peaceful. I talked about skincare, answered basic questions, and felt a fading sense of security. Then, the viewer count box at the top of the screen glitched. It flickered from 42 viewers down to 1, then to 0. But the stream didn't disconnect. The chat room completely froze. No one could type. A notification banner popped into my direct messages. It was him. The black wall is uninspired, Elena. It blocks the depth of the room. I prefer the original view. I swallowed hard, trying to maintain my customer service smile for the camera. Hey, user, underscore 9902, I said, my voice cracking slightly. Just wanted to change things up for a cleaner look. Hope you still enjoy the stream. A new message arrived instantly. No tip attached this time. Turn around. My blood turned to liquid ice. I stared at the lens of my webcam. Through the monitor, I could see myself, the black backdrop, and nothing else. I'm not doing custom requests tonight, I whispered, my lips trembling. The phone buzzed again. I am not making a request. I am giving you a hint. Look at the bottom left corner of the fabric. Slowly, terrifyingly, I looked at the preview screen on my monitor. At the very bottom left of the black photography cloth, right where it met the carpet, there was a slight bulge, as if something or someone was standing directly behind the fabric, pressing their foot against the frame. And then I watched the fabric ripple. A distinct, unmistakable shape of a human hand pressed into the black cloth from the other side, slowly sliding upward, inches away from the back of my neck. Part 3. I didn't scream. The terror was too heavy, suffocating my vocal cords entirely. I threw myself forward out of the chair, knocking the webcam onto the floor, and bolted out of the bedroom. I didn't stop running until I was down the stairs, past the lobby, and standing under the bright fluorescent lights of the 24-hour convenience store across the street. The cashier stared at me, barefoot, wearing sweatpants, sobbing hysterically. I called the police from my phone, my hands shaking so violently I nearly dropped it twice. The police arrived 20 minutes later. They searched my apartment while I waited in the lobby, clutching a paper cup of water. When the officer came down, his expression wasn't urgent. It was annoyed. "Miss, we checked the entire unit," he said, sighing. "The windows are locked from the inside. The door was secure. There's no one behind your backdrop. There's no sign of forced entry." "Are you sure you didn't just see a shadow from your lighting equipment?" "No, he was in the message chat. He told me he was there," I screamed, showing him my phone. The officer looked at the screen, but his brow furrowed. "There's nothing here." I looked down. The direct message thread with user underscore 9902 was gone. The tip history, the thousands of dollars, the usernames, everything had been completely erased. It looked like the account had never interacted with him at all. Even my bank balance showed the pending transfers. But the source was listed as platform standard payout, with no specific user attached. They left me alone. I couldn't stay in that apartment. I packed a single duffel bag, left the backdrop standing in the bedroom, and went to stay at a cheap, rundown motel on the edge of the city limits. I paid in cash. I didn't tell a single soul where I was going. Sitting on the edge of the squeaking motel bed, I finally did what I should have done weeks ago. I logged into the app, went to settings, and clicked Delete Account. A red error text popped up at the bottom of the screen. Account cannot be deleted while a custom subscription contract is active. My heart stopped. I had never opened a custom contract feature. I clicked over to my Earnings tab. There, under a section I had never seen before called Exclusive Ownership, was a single active contract. It had been accepted on the day I opened the account, buried deep in the fine print of the platform's automatic terms of service update. The payout amount was listed as infinite. The subscriber was user underscore 9902. Suddenly, my phone vibrated with a custom media notification from the OnlyFans app. It wasn't a message from a fan. It was a mass message sent to me from the platform's automated system. The text read, "Your primary subscriber has unlocked a private viewing. Tap to view." It was a locked media message. Usually, creators send these to fans for $10 or $20 to unlock a photo, but this one was sent to me. The price to unlock it was $0. I tapped the screen. The media expanded. It was a live video feed. The camera angle was low, looking out from a dark, cramped space. I recognized the pattern of the wallpaper instantly. It was the interior of the motel room I was currently sitting in. The camera was hidden inside the ventilation grate directly above the television, looking straight down at me. Part 4. The horror of that realization completely paralyzed me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't look up at the vent. On the screen of my phone, I watched a live video of myself staring down at my phone in absolute terror. The delay was less than a second. The screen flickered, and a text overlay appeared directly onto the live video feed, obscuring my own face on the screen. "You shouldn't have left the apartment, Elena. The contract dictates a consistent setting, but don't worry, I am adaptable." I threw the phone against the wall. It shattered, the screen fracturing into a spiderweb of green lines, but the audio speaker remained intact. From the cracked device on the floor, a soft, synthetic text-to-speech voice began to read aloud the incoming messages. "Account deletion denied," the phone chirped in a cheerful, digital cadence. "Subscriber 9902 has requested a live interaction milestone. Please prepare your camera." I scrambled toward the motel door, my fingers clawing at the brass chain lock. I threw it open, but as I stepped into the concrete outdoor walkway, the ambient noise of the city seemed completely gone. The highway noise, the wind in the trees, the distant sirens, everything was dead silent. The screen of my shattered phone on the floor grew intensely bright, casting a harsh, artificial white light across the motel room. The text-to-speech voice spoke one final time, echoing into the empty night air. "Stream status, public. Current viewers, 1 billion. I looked out into the motel parking lot. It wasn't empty. Standing beneath the buzzing yellow halogen lights were hundreds of people. They were standing perfectly still, arranged in neat, geometric rows like an audience in a theater. Men, women, strangers from the street, all of them holding their phones up, their screens glowing with the unmistakable interface of the streaming app. When I looked closer, my chest tightened until it felt like it would cave in. They didn't have faces. Where their eyes and mouths should have been, there was only smooth, waxy skin, completely featureless except for a small, blinking red light embedded in the center of their foreheads. A recording light. They all tilted their heads in unison, the red lights tracking my movement as I backed away. From the ventilation shaft inside my room, I heard the heavy metallic screech of the grate being kicked outward. It hit the carpet with a dull thud. I looked back inside. A hand, pale, elongated, and entirely devoid of fingernails, reached out from the dark square hole in the ceiling, gripping the drywall. It wasn't a stalker. It wasn't a crazy fan. It was the algorithm-made flesh coming to collect the content it had paid for. I fell to my knees on the concrete walkway, the red recording lights of 1,000 faceless viewers burning into my skin. I didn't want the money. I didn't want the fame. I just wanted my quiet, broke, boring life back. As the thing crawled out of the ceiling, its joints popping in a rhythmic digital static, I closed my eyes and let out a scream that no one would ever hear behind the paywall.